Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is December the 6th, 2018. Strong hand, value your wealth in Bitcoin. Long-term thinking, offended by selling. Be a unique beast. Unconfiscatable. Bitcoin is the apex predator. Tomorrow, 1:30 in Los Angeles, 4:30 back in New York and Baltimore on the East Coast. This week in Bitcoin, we're going to do it West Coast style with some West Coast guys, Christian, BTC, Benny, and Anders of LA, who I don't know if many of you know who that dude is, but he's a dude here in LA. They will be on the show. I'll actually talk about Anders a little later. He works for Bitcoin IRA, and I've had, I know a lot of you are interested in that type of stuff. Anyway, so yeah, there's a lot to talk about tomorrow, and it'll be a West Coast style, 1:30 in Los Angeles, right here on this channel, 4:30 in New York. All right, and I was just reminded in the chat by Web City USA, who is actually in Seattle, so I guess he'll be happy we're having a West Coast show tomorrow. He says it's been 5 years since my first Bitcoin show on this channel. That it was exactly 5 years ago that I posted my first show here about Bitcoin, and I'm glad you're keeping track of that. He actually mentioned it to me the other day. Yeah, a lot has changed since then. I recorded that in a house I no longer own. And I've matured a lot since then. I think I've changed. I hope we've all matured in a 5-year period. I think I've become a better person, a wiser person, and it's been such an adventure. And I want to say that I intend, if I've done it for 5 years, I'm going to do it for 5 more. I mean, I've got the conviction to do it for 5 more years, 50 more years, doing these shows, whatever it takes, baby. And I haven't been doing them every single day since that day in 2013. No, that there was a long break between that one and the next one. I didn't do another one until like September 2014. But I have been doing these shows every day for like at least since some point in 2016. So check out those archives. Check out everything I talk about in this video is linked to below. DisruptMeister.com. Follow me at TechBalt, TECHBALT. And please pound that like button. So we're going to get into the first story of the day. It does take me a while to get into the stories, doesn't it, sometimes? If you want to get into the stories, though, and you're not watching this live, just skip the beginning, okay? When I rub my nose, that means the show is really starting, and I'm talking about the ETF being delayed again. I mean, I want to, like, pick my nose with that news because of course, we already knew this. They say it's the ETF decision for Van Eck. I mean, it's such a picking of the nose story that I'm looking to the CoinDesk article the Van Eck Solid X Bitcoin ETF decision has been delayed till February 27th. I mean, yeah, all those strong handers. They'll probably find another way to delay it. It's going to happen eventually. If you have a strong hand, if you can defer gratification, then yeah. That's not very long. It's not far away at all. I mean, even a year from now is not very far away. And again, if you can't defer gratification, again, just like pick your nose or something, and maybe that'll entertain you. I have no idea. I don't know why I'm even talking about that. So, all right, Josh K he sent $1.99 in the super chat. Thank you very much, Josh. He says Maryland versus Nebraska in 2023. And yes, Maryland will be playing in Nebraska in 2023, and Josh is out there. So I said I'd go to the game. That's far off, dude. And again, I'm not a college football fan at all, but I would go. I'm a taxpayer in the state of a tax slave in the state of Maryland. So I fund the University of Maryland Terrapins. I mean, that's the coach gets paid like $1 million or something like that. That's from our tax dollars. So why not go see him play in Nebraska? And I made a joke that by then I'll get flown in on Trace Mayer's private jet, okay, and we'll land and we'll watch the Maryland versus Nebraska game with Josh. But Josh, thank you for the $1.99. I know I am never getting in a private jet with Trace Mayer, by the way. And I told Trace that. I have this fear. I don't have a fear of planes, but a lot of these times, these very successful men, they know how to fly planes, and then they end up. I don't want to be in a plane. It's a long story. I don't like smaller planes. And anyway, I think Trace has access to a plane. He flies, I believe. All right, there's some insider info. Trace Mayer, baby, he was the one talking about Bitcoin being the apex predator. Check out that link below when he was on my show. Oh wow, disruptmeister.com. That's where you watch that old show. Okay, Trezor. Speaking of anniversaries, this is their 7-year anniversary apparently. 7 years of hardware. Well, I linked to this below. 7 years of hardware wallets. The success story of a Czech crypto enthusiast creating a brand new industry. The history of Trezor is long, and we are nowhere near stopping innovating the security and safety of our users. Our main goal to make the security of cryptocurrencies even more user-friendly, and that's important. I hope they make it more user-friendly, streamlined, and intuitive. And I hope they do that because it's not that intuitive for everyone yet. For example, we would like to implement Lightning Network and Liquid support in Trezor. So these guys are freaking awesome. They've got lofty goals. They've got good goals for the regular person. Check out their link below. Speaking of awesome dudes and people who are in motion, UK Bitcoin Master Brian, he has a new one out there on Steemit. He's always looking to change that, earn some steam to turn it into Bitcoin. I link to it below. Brian is great. He gives a unique perspective on cryptocurrencies. He's out in Britain, of course, and he's a little closer to retirement than a lot of us are. He's worked a long, hard time, and he's got different goals. He's over 50, so that it's a unique. He's got a unique. He's got wisdom. Okay, he's got experience in life. Okay, and so to hear from a guy like him is a great perspective that some of the youngins out there, the 20-somethings, the people half Brian's age should be listening to him, seriously. And let me tell you, in his videos, when he's talking about his strong hand, he's very calm and he's very serious about it. So, I mean, he talks about 2024 halving and 2028 halving, because he's going to cash out at one of those eventually. Or who knows? Maybe by then you'll be able to buy. And I shouldn't put words in his mouth then. But those dates are a little bit more important to him than to us in terms of his retirement, or at least guys that are like 22 years old and stuff. All right, but the point of this is check him out, and he's one of the many guys in motion, and I should talk about him more, and he's been on my show before. He'll be back, of course. So in crypto news, the altcoin news, excuse me. This altcoin called SV is now worth more than this other altcoin called Bcash. And I mean, maybe it's like, who really cares though? Because a lot of times different altcoins are ranked higher than other altcoins. I mean, is Bcash still a top tier altcoin? I guess that's a bit, I didn't even have that written down as a subject to talk about. And another question is, there's so many people out. I mean, do you trust the security of your wealth with the people behind SV? I mean, seriously, there are people who are either aren't thinking about that, or they do. They trust. I mean, I don't know how these are centralized coins. Bcash, BSV. So many that's the beauty of Bitcoin. You don't have to trust Satoshi Nakamoto. He doesn't exist. He's gone. He's dead. He's disappeared. Like with these centralized coins, you got to worry about who's behind it. And I don't see how anybody in their right mind, how they wouldn't worry with the nonsense that's behind that SV coin. Now, anyway, it also shows, SV has increased in value since they did replay protection, since they didn't try to have a war with the coin where they admitted they're not the real Bcash. Now, who wants to be the real Bcash? Bcash wants to be the real Bcash. But SV, by implementing the replay protection, they said, we give up. They moved the goalpost, and I don't even know what they're judging their success on anymore. I'm not following the story. I just saw that. I saw some tweets by some people that they switched positions. Great. If anyone who buys that stuff, I don't know what you're thinking. I really don't know what you're thinking when there's the center. You trust, you're going to put value and on a chain like that, and trust a coin like that with that type of person behind it is shocking. Is amazing. And I think it's ridiculous, obviously. So yeah. I don't know how anybody can get behind it. Okay, pound that like button. So here's a reason to value your wealth in Bitcoin. And it shows you that Bitcoin is still, it's still the gold standard. It's what when you buy these altcoins, you got to worry about not the fiat value, but the Bitcoin value. How much if you would have held Bitcoin, how much more in terms of Bitcoin you would have if you just would have held Bitcoin instead of buying one of these altcoins. Was here. Michael Graub has a tweet reminding us of this. Newsflash: Bitcoin dominance can continue to increase as the Bitcoin fiat price decreases. Okay, so these other coins are going down faster than Bitcoin's been going down in terms of fiat. Thus, if you value your wealth in Bitcoin, you're holding onto the Bitcoin, not onto these altcoins, because they're losing to Bitcoin. They're losing their Bitcoin value, every single one, most of them. And every single eventually they all will. And on that same theme, here we go again. Kyle Torpre, however you pronounce his name, he says the Ethereum price in Bitcoin is currently lower than it was in March 2016 before the DAO was launched. So you should have just been holding Bitcoin the whole time. Instead of, if you've held Ethereum the whole time, it would have been better holding Bitcoin. Again, value your wealth in Bitcoin. And again, Ethereum in terms of dollars, yeah, it's worth more than it was in terms of dollars since then, but not in terms of Bitcoin, apparently. Now, will Ethereum go up in terms of Bitcoin again? Yeah, it probably will. But again, why even play these games? Just stick with the rock. And we're going to talk about these altcoin cycles, because a lot of people are saying, well, maybe altcoins are dead forever now since they're going down faster than Bitcoin, and people have lost a lot of value in terms of Bitcoin by holding on to these altcoins. But we'll discuss that in a second. The Bitcoin IRA company is in LA, I have found out from Anders. So, a lot of people want to be able to buy Bitcoin through their IRAs. So this allows you to do that, apparently. I don't have an IRA. I don't believe in those type of things. My savings mechanism is Bitcoin, but there's some of you who are stuck with your IRAs or like IRAs. So long and short of it, on tomorrow's This Week in Bitcoin, I think Anders will talk about the Bitcoin IRA. He will talk about the Bitcoin IRA some, and I will probably have the guy behind the company on it eventually on my show, just a separate show, to talk about that, because there is interest in this type of thing. I'm not, I'm neutral on it, okay? But I know there's interest on it. And Anders is a friend of mine, obviously. Anders is doing great things here in LA. And since I'm in LA for the next week, whatever, I'm thinking LA things. And LA, man, it is the decentralized city. I think I brought that up before. Peter Thiel, actually, Thiel, or however you say, he was the one who put that thought into my mind. I saw him in a video once saying, how LA is decentralized and San Francisco is centralized. It's LA. It's all spread out, and it's cool. If you're not in the acting industry, if you're just like a free spirit here and you've got your stuff together, though, it's pretty. You can go so many different directions here. There are a lot of different. It's not just some liberal, craziness. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of insanity. But there's all sorts of people here. You can find your way. But a lot of people get down in LA because it's the boulevard of broken dreams. What is that? Hollywood Boulevard, which is right near here. And that's the people who get stuck in this Hollywood mainstream society. It's a sick world. But that's just one aspect of Los Angeles. That's one. It's decentralized. There's no center to LA. You see tall buildings everywhere. In Century City, you see it in downtown LA. You see it in Hollywood. It's not, most cities are quite centralized. They've got their core. And LA really is spread out. So I know a lot of people rag on LA, and there's a lot of things that not like about LA. But since it is decentralized, there's a lot of nooks and crannies here that are interesting. And if you're a genuinely happy person, you can be good. It can be cool here. And I am a genuinely happy person. But if you are stuck, if you trend toward sadness or, God forbid, depression, or if you're totally into 80% of society, you can get down here a lot because there's a lot of competition and superficial stuff. But if you're totally in the Bitcoin overlay here, it's pretty cool to watch all the madness around you and stuff and be like, dude, these people are so superficial here. That dude's so crazy in the parking lot throwing his needle around. Okay, 123 No Scope sent $2 in the super chat. He says IRAs are the past. Bitcoin is IRA for college students. Well, there you go. I like that attitude. But there are dudes who watch the show, I know for a fact, who are like in their 50s and stuff, who have IRAs, and they're like, I want to be able to buy Bitcoin through my IRA, because they got a lot of money stuck in their IRA already. So they want to be able to use their IRA to buy Bitcoin, and there's tax benefits to it. We'll get into it. I mean, this is obviously something that should be talked about on the show, and I'm no expert on it, because like 123 No Scope, I'm not an IRA fan. Okay, so Elaine Al on her blog, she has a good article here. It's never indulge a no-coiner. Reject no-coiner orthodoxy. It's a great attitude to have. If you start arguing with these no-coiners, it's just a waste of your time. She rejects a lot of their FUD in this article. So read the article. It's good for all the strong handers out there. Use that strong hand right now to pound that like button, subscribe to the channel, and check out my Twitter at TechBalt, TECHBALT. All right. So Peter McCormick, what's this tweet? Okay, here we go. This is the altcoin thing I want to talk about. If you are accumulating altcoins / tokens, hoping 2017 will happen again, please consider. And he lists all these many good points about why altcoins and tokens won't pump again. Now, tokens, that's a completely different animal. The ICO stuff, ridiculous. That might never pump again. But I got to tell you, this, and I say this all the time, it's cyclical. This space is cyclical, okay? And there are so many 80%ers who haven't learned their lesson and have short memories. And there's so many people who haven't even entered the space yet. And some of the main on-ramps in the space, and I'm going to, like Coinbase, you go to them and it looks like all the coins listed on there are equal. So why don't I just get this Bcash thing? It's got the same name as Bitcoin, but it's cheaper. So these all, I think, so if you're accumulating altcoins on the cheap now, I mean, I don't advise you to do that at all. Just get Bitcoin on the cheap right now. I mean, but there are people that are buying altcoins on the cheap thinking there's going to be a pump again. But then there's some people like this Peter guy who give really good reasons why there shouldn't be an altcoin pump again. But I always default. I always think like, you know what? You got to take it down many levels to the 80%er level. Okay. They repeat the same mistakes over and over again. They're not long-term thinkers. They get in on trends. They get in during FOMO moments. And I don't think, because of that, I don't think we've had our .com bubble moment in crypto yet. Again, people think that, and we just had a bubble, of course. I think there's going to be even a bigger one. And I think and if Bitcoin will pump again, then so many of those altcoins are also going to pump again. And some of them will pump more than Bitcoin for a time. But since it's all cyclical, it'll all come around again. When they go down, they'll go down harder. And it will be better just to have held Bitcoin the entire time. Okay, so we're going to talk. And again, this is my view on mainstream finance. Also, the 80%ers, they rely on the welfare dollar. They always need to buy new things. And we can yell and scream about how these things are so superficial, but the bulk of the people in the Western world need their cool things, and that will keep the fiat system of the main currencies like the dollar going and going and going and going. And that is why I don't think there's going to be like an end of the world. Fiat will die. All crypto will take over. We all need guns and ammo moment. No. No, the 80%ers are just satisfied so much with superficial stuff. And it's been proven time and time again. We've had financial crashes, and they didn't, you know what? Some people lost their jobs and everything. They kept on buying their big screen TVs. They were happy with their Obama phones. Maybe they'll just elect some socialist, and there'll be all these new socialist programs and stuff. The life will go on. The world will not end at all. You have to be prepared for certain situations, and that's just by being a Bitcoin holder. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. There's no end to it. 80%ers are going to do what 80%ers are going to do. There's short-term. If you're a long-term thinker, you're positioning yourself in a great way. All right. So here is talking about centralized altcoins. This is an article from Nasdaq.com, and it says, well, let me read you the what it actually says here. Miami-based United American Corp announced today that it has launched a suit for damages and injunctive relief against Bitmain, Bitcoin.com, King of the Trolls, the Kraken Bitcoin Exchange, and other individuals that are related to what is alleged to have been a well-planned scheme to take control of Bcash network for personal gain, and which caused a global capitalization meltdown of Bcash network at the same expense of others. Now, before I get into this, Aaron Von Weerden pointed out that what the heck is? Have you ever heard of United American Corp? And he kind of connected it to Calvin, billionaire Calvin of SV, and the billionaire Calvin had even talked about a similar, they were going to sue them. The point, and that's great that a billionaire is suing a centralized coin, because that billionaire centralized coin can easily be sued just as easily. And it probably will be. When there are major players behind these altcoins, and especially these tokens, people are going to get sued. That's the beauty of Bitcoin. There's no one to sue. There's no one to sue. You can't sue Satoshi. And so, if Calvin is behind this, dude, karma will come your way, dude. You're going to get sued too. But let them have their little suing games, okay? Where the big boys play in Bitcoin, there are no lawsuits. It's lawsuit proof, okay? All right, it's unconfiscatable. In these other places, other coins, SV, well, maybe the psychopath behind SV will decide that one day he's going to roll back the chain and steal everyone. I mean, why not? Well, it's centralized. Why not? I mean, the guy said it's a wacky thing. But again, my point in bringing this up is that lawsuits happen when there are points of weakness, when there are centralized points. And that's what you have with a lot of these altcoins. And Bitcoin doesn't have to worry about that. So, and who's going to sue? I'm suing somebody, some woman, man thing called Satoshi. Yeah, good luck. And I'm not saying that. I don't even know if this lawsuit will be. I don't care if that lawsuit will be successful, but it's Bitcoin doesn't play in that world. So here's a FUD buster from Arjun, who's been on the show before. Arjun always has some very nice tweets. He says, public service announcement. The reason why there is heavy on-chain transactions and transaction volume isn't because large early holders or Satoshi is selling their Bitcoins. A large exchange is updating their storage setup and migrating UTXOs as part of that. Quit your deep state conspiracies and go meditate. Yeah, that's pretty good advice. That goes way beyond the Bitcoin realm too. So many people with their conspiracies out there just kind of like take a breath and get some fresh air and stuff. Okay, but no, I'm sure soon you'll be hearing. Or maybe you've already heard. I hadn't heard this, that Satoshi is moving his coins, or early people are moving their coins right now. Thus, you should have no faith. They are no holders of last resort. I'm sure. No, that's not what's going on. Like Coinbase apparently is rearranging I think it's Coinbase is the major exchange that's rearranging their Bitcoin or something. Okay, just what Arjun said. And no, holders of last resort, like that Australian dude that won the auction who hasn't moved his 2,000 Bitcoin ever, like Trace Mayer. Adam Meister, all sorts of people out there. We don't sell. Okay, we are the strong hands, and the ship is never going down, but we would go down with that darn ship. I will tell you that. And that is conviction. The Bitcoin users, whatever, holders of last resort, all about conviction, baby. And what altcoin can say that they have people like that? I don't know. It's a different. It's apples and oranges. Bitcoin to these altcoins. It really is. It really is. But it isn't for newbies. And there are so many newbies that are going to come into this space over the next 2-3 years. Okay, what they're going to see first is I was at Chabad today, here in Los Feliz. I went up to Los Feliz, okay, to the Chabad up there. So, and we got to some of the guys there. We got to talk about. They asked me what I did. I said I watch I make these videos. That's what I do. I just said Bitcoin basically. And they said, "Oh, we'd heard of that before." And one question that I got is, where does the money go? Who gets the money when I buy the Bitcoin? And it reminded me that people have asked me this question before. People think that you buy Bitcoin from like a company produces it, and then you buy it from the company, just like you buy a Dell from the Dell company, and the Dell gets your cash. Dell Corporation gets your cash. They think, and I said, no, it's an exchange. You buy it in an exchange, and a person who already owned the Bitcoin, gets your cash. And it just people have. It shows you how early we are in all this. People have heard of it. They don't really know what it is, and if there's a company behind it, and I think it's a nice reminder that and then one person came up to me who knew a little bit more, and he said, "What do you think about Ethereum?" And I said, "Ethereum?" He's like, "Yeah." And I said, "No, Bitcoin's the real thing." He's like, "How do I get the Bitcoin?" I said, "Well, go to Coinbase." And that's the easiest way. And so the guy goes around this phone to Coinbase. Now, as all of you know, I don't have a smartphone. So he puts it in my face, what Coinbase looks like, and I couldn't believe it. It's like it's got all their coins listed there, and they all look like they're equal. And that's my point of bringing this up, that people are just going to buy them. People are going to buy these altcoins, thinking, well, it's just as good as Bitcoin. And again, someone this morning asked me, like, how much is a Bitcoin? And I said, you can get a fraction of it. And they didn't know that you could get like $10 worth of it. So many people do not know that. And they're going to go to Coinbase, and they're going to, on their phones, and they're going to see, like, well, I want a cheap cryptocurrency. I don't want to pay $3,000, $10,000, $20,000 for this Bitcoin. And we're real early on there, and it's interesting I'm going to keep on running into people like this, and I want everybody put in perspective, because when we're here in the chat right now, or when we're watching these videos, we forget that most of the world is like the people I was talking to today, and they're going to encounter, when they come around to buying their first crypto, though, their first Bitcoin, they're going to see what Coinbase presents. Coinbase is going to make a lot of money off these people, and and you can say what you want about Coinbase. I mean, you should start a competitor to Coinbase if you don't like what they do. I'm trying to spread the word to newbies, like, to these guys, like, just the Bitcoin's the real thing. You really don't want to mess around with these other things. And we're going to get to competitors of Bitcoin right now, actually, competitors of Coinbase right this second. BTC Sessions, who'll be on the show tomorrow. He has retweeted a part of a speech that Francis gave yesterday in Calgary, introducing the new company, Bull Bitcoin, I believe it's called. And Benny will talk about it on the show tomorrow. And it's interesting that they're launching it in Calgary and Alberta. When I was in Alberta, all of you may remember that I said, this is a great place for Bitcoin in Canada. Most of the time we hear about Vancouver and Toronto and Montreal. We should be hearing about this. Well, now we're hearing about this. So there's something I recognized when I saw it in person. So congratulations to all you Albertans. And I want to hear more about this. But the company is going to focus on, I believe they're competing with these Coinbase type of people, I believe. I forgot the names that, watched yesterday's show. Francis mentioned in his tweet who they're competing against. But what this brings up, they're just and Francis in his speech specifically says we are focusing on Bitcoin only, none of this altcoin nonsense. Okay. So, and I also noticed that Bitcoin Magazine is going back to like just focusing on Bitcoin. So I wonder if we're going to enter there's going to be a new trend of people just trying to focus on Bitcoin only, just like ripping out the altcoin aspects of their. Now I'm going to still talk about altcoins and stuff here. I mean, it just comes up. I mean, it's intertwined with Bitcoin. I can't untangle them. Again, I only have used fiat to buy Bitcoin. Okay, I don't know why anyone would use their fiat to buy anything. If you have extra fiat, why would you buy your Litecoin with it? I don't know at all. But because in the end, Bitcoin is the winner. There's going to be some top tier ones that survive, but in the end, Bitcoin is the winner. So I do wonder if we're getting into this a new trend here where we're going to hear more about these Bitcoin only businesses and Bitcoin only publications. Just some people are tired of the nonsense, but again, we have so many newbies that are going to eventually flood in here again. I don't know how. I think there'll always be a space for the people that are just preaching the ridiculousness of some of these altcoins and ICOs and everything. I mean, people want to hear things, that they are going to be involved with the next Bitcoin. They don't like hearing Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. They don't like this show, I guess. Pound that like button if you know that Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin, not whatever the altcoin flavor of the month is in April of 29 or September of 2019 or 2020. All right. So yeah, much respect to the hardcore Bitcoin people that are just like Francis and Benny and whoever's behind this business in Calgary. And I look forward to hearing more about it on tomorrow's show. And hopefully I'll get Francis one-on-one on just a separate show for him just to talk about what this Bitcoin bull is all about. So finally, here is a tweet that really sums up the psychology of many different people out there. That they're scared of when the fiat price is going down, they get freaked out. But when the fiat price is going up, they have fear of missing out, and that's when they want to buy. So this is a tweet from Whale Panda. Because right now is the time you really should want to buy Bitcoin. Like you should be like enthused, like, oh wow, once it was $20,000 almost, and now it's like $3,000. Oh my God, this is such an opportunity. But here he goes. Whale Panda says, last year I had friends and family asking me if they should buy Bitcoin when the price was between $12,000 and $17,000. I told them to wait. I told them now is a good time to start scaling in. None of them are interested in buying it anymore. So they were only interested when it was $17,000. Now that it's gone down, they're not interested anymore. But if they were really interested when it was $17,000 and they could think back to that time, they should be really interested in it now. Like, well, it's on sale. But people don't think like that at all. People, they get stuck in FOMO. They get stuck in FOMO, and then they follow the herd. When everybody's running away, they run away also. This is when you should be running toward it. All right. Happy Hanukkah, everyone. Tonight, what was tonight? The 5th? Tonight was the 5th night. I can't remember how many candles I lit in there. So yeah, it's Friday's the 6th. So anyway, pound that like button. Bang that bell button if you need reminders of when this show goes live. I post a new show here every single day. Remember, This Week in Bitcoin is on at 4:30 Eastern Time tomorrow. That's 1:30 on the West Coast in LA. Click on the squares out there. I'm Adam Meister, Bitcoin Meister, Disrupt Meister. Subscribe to the channel, pound that like button, do all those things I always say. See you in the chat right now. See you tomorrow. Bye.